Hi everyone, I'm here with Ann Romney, wife of Mitt, mother of Josh, Tad, Craig, Matt, and Ben, grandmother of, well, too many to mention because there are now 23 grandchildren, enthusiastic equestrian, and MS survivor. And her struggle with this disease is the topic of her new book called In This Together. Hi Ann Romney. You look wonderful as always. Can you explain just briefly, Ann, what is MS exactly? What does it do to your body?
It's an autoimmune disease. It sets the brain in motion to keep attacking itself, and what it does is, I like to think of it as like little Pac-Men that are aggressively trying to make the body well, but they are on overdrive, and instead they start attacking the myelin sheath. In the myelin, think of it as like a wire. And in the insulation, the black insulation around it, it's like the Pac-Men are eating that black wire away so that you short circuit. So the brain will tell your leg to move. The leg doesn't get the signal because it's been short circuited. So that's basically what's happening.
I know with MS, every day is different. So how do you manage the disease on a daily basis?
Well, part of the disease that was the toughest for me is after I finally was getting medicine and it was going into remission, it's like, wait a second, wasn't the medicine supposed to make me feel better? And I still felt awful. And it's unrelenting fatigue, and it's the hardest thing for people to understand is how difficult that is to deal with every single day. How do you even, I try to explain to people what it feels like. I would look at a pile of mail. Before, that would be easy for me to deal with. Now I'd look at that pile of mail and I would say, I don't know if I have the energy to open the envelope. Because if I open the envelope, I have to do something with what's inside that envelope. I can't, I just couldn't even bring the resources of energy to even deal with it. And with someone that has always been active and can tackle anything and do all these things, what happens is it strips you of everything. It strips you of your identity. You're like, I'm a capable person. No, I'm not. I'm a great cook. No, I'm not. All of a sudden, I'm like, I can't do anything. I'm worthless. I was crushed to dust. And I think that's the part of the disease that people don't understand, is that it strips more than the neurons and the myelin from your sheath. It strips you of who you are.
You write in your book about depression.
Yeah.
Why don't you read the portion where you talk quite candidly about how crushing this was for you?
Yeah, it's hard for people to appreciate that. Only a few years earlier, I had been in the midst of a deep depression, wishing I would be struck by a disease that would kill me quickly rather than slowly losing control of my body. I had been grasping for any hope.
So you did suffer from significant depression because of this disease?
Yeah, there's no question. I felt as though my life was over. There was nothing of any worth I was going to be to anyone anymore. There was no joy left for me. There was nothing I could do except stay in bed and feel like I wanted to crawl in a ball. I wrote this book not for me, but for the millions of people that are suffering from neurologic disease and the millions of caregivers that are giving aid and comfort to those people that are suffering. There are 50 million people worldwide that suffer from neurologic disease. And I want people to know that I was crushed, but I was able to get up and keep moving somehow, and I found strategies to help me. Like the title of the book, it's In This Together. What it did for me is that it broke also my heart, and it crushed me to dust, but it opened my heart by breaking it. And now I'm going to give hope to those that are suffering, and we are starting this extraordinary center, the Ann Romney Center for Neurologic Disease, that will study multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, ALS, Parkinson's, and brain tumors. We are going to give hope to the millions of people that are suffering, because we are going to find cures, we're going to find treatments. It's a brave new world out there. We are going to make some real medical breakthroughs. My proceeds from the book will go to the Ann Romney Center for Neurologic Disease. So anyone that buys a book will know that all the money will be going to research.
It is a very exciting time. Having said that, do you miss not being in the throes of a presidential campaign?
Not a second. Not a second. I think it's almost every day, Mitt and I go, oh, aren't we glad we're having our life back and we're doing what we want to do and we're enjoying it. Now, it's not to say we're not enjoying it like everyone else is. It's quite entertaining. It's totally different than any of us would have anticipated, and I have to say that's the case on both sides of the aisle.
How do you explain it?
Frustration just extraordinary frustration across the nation, on the right and the left, that things are not happening for the whole, but maybe just for special interests. People are feeling as though they're not getting their fair shake when it comes to what the government is supposed to represent.
Do you think Donald Trump is good for presidential politics?
I think certainly every cycle is so unique, and this one is maybe one of the most unique. More people are listening. I think more people are becoming engaged. More people are paying attention than ever before. Maybe I would say would be a good thing.
Let's talk about who you think might be the best candidate for the job, Ann.
Well, it was Mitt, and he's not running.
So since you can't have your husband get the nod, who do you think would make the best president?
You know, I don't really want to talk about individuals. I know every single one of them. As a matter of fact, maybe I don't. Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders are the two I've never met. But every single other candidate that's running on both sides, I know. I know their wives or husbands. I know their staff. I know their consultants. I know their pollsters. I know everybody.
Then you're in a good position to pick someone.
I know, and I'm also in a good position to say it's not my right to pick. It's like my duty and responsibility to stand on the sidelines and to let the process work its way through.
I think your husband has a soft spot for Marco Rubio.
You know, we did have Marco and his family with us over the 4th of July weekend, and surprise, surprise, Christy and his family also spent the weekend with us. It was really fun. It was really fun, and it wasn't ever a problem. It was just great fun, really good people.